Hello, I'm Chylli from General Chili, also known as Chai, and I'm back with more Fear and Hunger. Okay, so I do know that the red men are functionally immortal. They have basically infinite HP. So yeah, it's not even worth trying to fight them. That's not what I wanted to do. We need to backtrack and use a different spot to do that. And I am really sorry for the lag. I'm pretty sure there's a fix for it, but I don't really remember how to do it. There's an ancient table with multiple hand-shaped embeddings. The text says, soaked in the blood of war, a spear that matches the strength of 40 men. I'm going to do this purely just to show it on the video, but I will reload once I'm done. A large sphere is lying on the table. It gives you an intimidating impression at first glance. A heavy throwing spear used by the Serval tribes in the northern parts of the Western world. So yeah, we're gonna reload. That is actually one of the best weapons in the game, but it's not worth it right now. These are my studies over the subjective creation of an artificial life form. Such ability transcends humanity and the limits mankind has set for itself. During my time as a man walking amidst people, such studies were frowned upon. The other scholars would bring such topics such as morality and ethics to the table. But I believe this to be the final pillar we must overcome in order to ascend to the true god status, to be equals with the older gods or even more. The older gods have shown talent for the creation of life since the beginning of time. The animated clay figures that inhabit Mahabharata are a perfect example of this. They are just golems created for physical work. Without rest, they carry on their duties. The older gods would then create life for different purposes whenever necessary. All this, I believe, eventually led to the ultimate life form, the human being. This is the aim of my studies as well. I believe I understand enough to be able to achieve this. I must achieve this to be truly self-sufficient, independent in the greater scheme of things. This is the key to the natural progression, where the man finally overcomes its creators, Voltaire. The husk growth has been perfected to the point the process is simple enough for an infant to use. I created the perfect balance of the liquid and the black growth hormone to support the creation of mock life. A mere addition of blood in the liquid can replicate the origin of the blood donor to striking accuracy. This is the tank. With this, I'll grow myself a new body and attain my lost strength. Nasra bites his lip and it starts to bleed, then he lets some blood out into the water. The blood mixes with the water in the most bizarre ways. The red trail of blood swirls slowly in the middle of the tank. In the middle, the blood concentrates and slowly starts to grow mass. A human husk is fully grown. I forgot how miserable the technology was down here. truly abysmal. This body cannot support my powers, not by a long shot. So there goes that plan. Well, forget it. Let's just murder the new guys with brute strength instead. I am Nosra the Destroyer after all, the horror from the east, the plague of modern times. Looks like your role continues, maggot. We'll bring an end to the reigns of the new gods. We will destroy them all. I will bathe in their blood. I cannot have this ugly husk around now, can I? You make a small cut on your finger and let some blood out. The blood mixes with the water in the most bizarre ways, yada yada. The human husk is fully grown. You've created an empty husk of yourself with blank eyes that stares at you, not realizing the resemblance the two of you share. The husk doesn't seem to be capable of anything constructive. Alright, now you're ready to do this. Actually, we need to reverse time again. The husk body followed you from the underground caverns. I didn't realize if you got too far away, it would completely reset like that. Okay, we're going into a boss battle now. As if something was rising from the pool of blood. Oops, sorry about that, I didn't mean to do that. The Tormented One stops his attacks and retreats closer to the center of the pool. A terrible sensation fills you, as if something is about to happen that should remain unknown to human eyes. There we go, we didn't do too bad there. The wheels of torment along with the Tormented One sank into the pool of blood as quietly as they rose from it. You feel as if a millennia of torment has just slipped before your eyes. You can almost feel sorry for this tormented deity. But any feelings of pity is greatly overshadowed by your feelings of great accomplishment. Not just a personal accomplishment, but as if something greater has just started to change. The cogs of fear and hunger have begun to rotate on a larger scale. I can't remember. I think there's something we can do now. The Tormented One is lying down here, breathing heavily. Seems like the time has worn him down. His body is parched and withered. He doesn't appear to be able to do anything anymore. Desperately grasping for his last breath. Serves you right, you insolent fool. Die a slow and painful death. The Tormented One passes on his knowledge to you. The magic chains of torment is etched into your head. There we go, now we got his unique spell for ourselves. You know what, maybe I should have just gone for the body instead. That seemed to work much better. I'm pretty sure there's also a new event with Voltail that I forgot about, so let's go back there as well. It's all pointless. Mankind got no hope. There's no way to break these chains. The worst part is, I don't even know if the gods exist. Nazra spits at Voltail. You child molesting bastard, Cersei right hanging here. I think I'll make a roof ornament out of you. My palace needs some fresh decoration after all. There we go, just some unique dialogue there. And we are on to the laps of the new gods now. Okay, so this is it's a really expansive event, so I want to make sure I'm going to do a cut here where I do every single one of these. Or, well, it's not going to be a cut, I'm just going to keep reloading and asking different things. But give me a moment as I look up all the options you actually can ask about. You are greeted with towering figures. They are sitting idle next to huge dining tables. You get ominous vibes from them, but at the same time, there's a peaceful and still atmosphere filling the air. Welcome, you have earned 3 questions. Use them wisely. Ask anything you want to. What subject do you want to know more about? Damon, why do I have a skill issue? He traveled far from the east just to stop the spreading of the inevitable darkness. His iron will manifests in his blade even to this day. You have one more question left. Ask anything you want to. What subject do you want to know more about? And I used the instead of enter. That is my bad. overwhelming physical strength and endless lust that is only weakened by their loneliness. It manifests in their final form. He is a human that was lost to blood magic. The darkness has its way with him. He is but a slave to Grogeroth. The poor creature wants to get the gift of the god of the depths. He was once persuaded by the king of the insects. Needless to say that his pursuits are in vain. Here we go again. Let's ask more questions. Before men, the lizard men roamed as the dominating life form. Like us, they too desire to ascend higher. What remains of those ancient times are the forms. The wretched being was locked behind the sealed door when he was looting the dungeon from valuables. He turned on the god of the depths for salvation. God damn it, I used C again. Just like how the black changes the humans, it also affects the plants. On this soil that has seen countless deaths, that curious flower once started blooming. It requires fertile ground to grow to its full bloom, and there is no better source of life than humans. Primal and savage beings, the poor souls are once stuck in the black because of a cave-in. The little halflings given birth by the cave mother, even their mother thinks little of them and uses them to do her dirty work. Cave mother, a being who has stayed in the darkness for too long, and longs for humankind to pregnate her. He was set on purifying the dungeons from filth and deprived men. Little did he know he would become a part of the Black himself. Okay, what is wrong with me? Why do I keep using C? Only traces of the older gods remain in this plane of existence. Nasra has been able to bend a powerful being under his will. The elite guards who serve the kingdom of Rundan, or at least served while still retaining their sanity. They carry 2 red feathers in their helmets to signify their rank. A white feather of an eagle is given to the squires when they serve their military service. Once a feather changes its color to red because of all the blood it has absorbed on the battlefield, that's when the squire becomes a knight. That's how the tradition originates, at least. The tradition has become more civilized as time goes on. These days, you only need to dip the feather to a bloodstain of your opponent to rise in ranks. Valtail, the Enlightened One, has succumbed to fleshly delights with his own creations. Embryos of the bastardization that came from that act. There's his physical and mental fortitude gonna handle the ever-pressing darkness. They lost their mind. Overwhelming physical strength and endless lust that is only weakened by their loneliness. It manifests in their final form. Before men, the lizardmen roamed as the dominating life form, like us, they too desire to ascend higher. What remains of those ancient times are the forms. Greater blight is something that rivals the powers of the new gods even in this day and age. It is truly curious how powerful these ancient relics were in their prime. Creations of the black. Once a mumbler develops a consciousness, they can finally break free from the restraints of the god of the depths. Or is it more like consciousness or enlightenment? It's hard to tell. These creatures don't function in the same way as humans do. No longer tied to be just a mindless servant of the god, no one knows their true ambitions. Unable to satisfy the needs of his victims, he resorts to more violent ways of pleasure. Francois, the Dominating One, has trained the hunting hounds to harass all those who trespass upon his domain. He named them after the mystical beast Jagged Jaw. Those mindless beasts only taste the blood of their victims in their mouths. That is all they know. The remaining guards of the fortress, they try to save themselves with an act of love. As things started to succumb to chaos in the dungeons of fear and hunger, he was sent from the kingdom of Rendon for aid. In short time, he too lost his mind. Now he tries to guard the area to his last breath from anyone who sets foot in the fortress. The older gods, before their departure, nominated a king to rule the Mahabra and mankind. It's all fallacy. We as the new gods rule the Mahabra now. Okay, that's my bad for not double checking that. I was typing too fast. The true of the old knight. We do not know about her. She is the servant of the moon god, the older one. The moon god has his motivations to meddle with the axe and process, but we do not understand it. Long ago, before men take the dungeons as their own, there dwelled a different race in the black. Valtiel, the Enlightened One, in his attempt to understand the secrets of life, he accidentally created this being. An act of love between a lizard man and a yellow mage. The being that came from the ass seems to share the intelligence of both worlds. However, it is not known for certain which tribe it truly belongs to, thus it wanders the darkness alone. They came from the green hue, even we don't know their true purpose. They manifest around sickness and dead carcasses. A lone cave wolf who was once driven away from her pack because of her superior strength. The black had its way in changing the nature of wolves. An act of love between a cave wolf and a guard. Creations of the black, the darkness has had its way with countless victims. They're fully erect despite being left untouched for decades. Those ghastly figures are but echoes of the people that dwelled those dungeons before. Many of them saw an end when the current reign of the dungeons ended just a brief time ago. The miserable creation that is but a mockery of human beings. It is a simple being created by a new god that once existed who was trying to achieve the power of the older gods with limited understanding. The fool has traveled far and wide, but has gone no wiser. He was once sentenced to the prisons. He used to lust to hurt women. Now he's an epitome of his perversions. the figurine created by the older gods to protect the golden temple of the true king. He has seen millennia go by, but still the fool waits for false prophecy. I'm going to do all of these in the video, even if it goes on a little longer. A virtuous knight who was on a path through the black of the dungeons. He met the alchemist Nosramis on his way down, who saved his wife. The old knight decided to serve Nosramis for his lifetime and beyond. The priests came for the pilgrimage to the dungeons. They're worshippers of both new and old gods. God damn it, why do I keep doing that? You suffered the torture of the Tormented One for hundreds of years. With every passing year, its pain grows stronger. A being that lurks in the shadows. Different tales about Rontiel have been passed down for many generations. It is said that Rontiel appears first in the nightmares, only to fuel his or her own materialization to the physical world with the fear it instills. An ancient being that swims in the underground waterways. There are many human legends which mention this beast as well. Men are wicked. Condemned weakness can manifest in many ways. Scarabs are there to remind us of this. A simple reanimated skeleton, the necromancy needs to be stronger in order for them to animate mere but dust and bones. Thus, their strength is also greater than ghouls. A myth passed on by the wild men of the north and those who live in Oldegard and its surrounding areas. The myth, if typically told to the new generations, as a cautionary tale on what happens if you abandon your family and leave for greener pastures. The black is said to creep up from the dark corners of your home cabin, slowly nibbling the form of your beloved ones. The creature is of course just a myth, but the tale lives on strong in the consciousness of the northern folk, and often in nightmares, the creature has a vivid presence. Valtiel, the Enlightened One, created many forms of life for many different purposes. Uterus serves a purpose too, and every night Valtiel would summon one of them to his quarters. A manifestation of your grudge during your stay in the dungeons. A poor soul that got distorted by the ever-looming trickster moon god. Even we are not sure if his appendage grew to have a life of its own or if it was a mere parasite that made the malformation even more severe. That's actually one from Termina. That character's not even in this game. Peoples of the Nasra the Destroyer. They use the strength of Grogroth to their master's advantage. A soul that radiates the light of an older god. The soul has formed itself inside the body of a little girl. The mother of the Ancient One is the Endless One, and the father is the man from the prophecies. The result of such an unholy union are unfamiliar to us. So yeah, the girl is the child of, the guard in Nilvan. The new god of enlightenment that preceded Nosrez at the Grand Libraries. He created the Grand Libraries to store the immense knowledge the world holds. He wished that the archives would one day surpass the knowledge and the wisdom of the older gods. Every new god of enlightenment would from then on dedicate their cycle at the libraries to a certain subject they would dedicate themselves to. Gahara of the South, he originates from the Eastern Sanctuaries, a bastard child left on his own at a very young age. Somehow this poor soul found his way to these dungeons. Ron Chambara when he still walked among men as a mere mortal. Once a poet, he believed no great art can be achieved without pain and suffering. He now continues the same principles as a new god. The trusted knight of the prophesized one, she seems awfully dim, standing next to a blinding shimmer of the wine. But it might be wrong to misjudge your potential. one of the more notorious dark priests of the modern age. We would not be surprised if he was to rise and become the new enlightened one. In the book and legends, he goes by the name Forgotten One or the Fifth One, but his birth name is Nothramas. Francois the Dominating One, the new god of the current era. He rose to power and proceeds to more strength to unify the warring lands. Selfishly, he has taken over the Golden Temple and tries to rule Mahavra with his iron fist. He deserves to die. A pure being in which both strength of the new gods and the seed of a man from the prophecies came together. Never in Rin history has there been a similar situation. It is truly exciting, isn't it? We can expect great things from her. These peculiar beasts run wild in the deepest forests of Europa. They got a clear alignment with the older god, Venushka. But exactly what is this correlation? We don't know. The Ikiturso are known to rise from their slumber during the times when nature is under a threat. Another character from Termina that we don't actually see in this game. The prophesized one, already while still alive, there were many tales written and sung about him. We don't know where the prophecy got started, but needless to say that it's all fallacy. But the man himself is a curious kind. There's definitely something different about him, and whatever his part might be in the greater scheme of things, the very least he started something larger. There are things and beings even we don't talk about. Beings that come from the unknown beyond the blue skies. Tracer God, also known as the Moon God, he is one of the last older gods to be observed mankind. He is a jealous kind. He would not share the godhood and the world order with humans and the new gods. He has many ploys to diminish our influence. The previous new god who held the libraries as his own after the Great Battle. How battle fell for the pathetic tricks Nazra pulled against him is a complete mystery to us. Nazra was not content with what we have here, that miserable worm. The old fool, his mind was weak, his body was weak, and most of all, he couldn't hold his own against the pressure this place has on people. Without reason, he used to sodomize everyone who stood in his way. That is how he desired to spend his days instead of the true godhood we have here. Enough, that's more than enough, you filthy maggots. That is how I gave up on my pathetic golden crowd of the new gods, are you kidding me? Maggots swimming in their own vomit. Nazra spits on the ground aggressively. You are still alive, somewhat, Nazra the half-man. Nazra the half-man from the east, better half than Chris. So this is what a burnt god smells like. Disgusting. Everything about your miserable existence reeks rotten. Nazra spits on the crisp body of the new god. Now then, the new goddess, she believes in the endless potential of the humankind. That anything can be within reach if you try hard enough. She is aware of the end of an era and is desperately looking for a way to continue her reign beyond her destined lifetime. She believes Ligard holds the key to eternal existence. He was part of the fellowship that consisted of the four of the current new gods. He supposedly understood the true nature of the greater scheme and thus refused his ascension. He has since forgotten it, alright. It must be left in the darkness for the time he will rot. Her cowl, and the group associated with that figure. You might recognize them by the body paint covering their faces and body. They are but leeches leeching on the older gods, pursuing their own agenda. Miserable figures. A servant of the trickster god, the moon, his motivations lie in the path laid out by the older god. Unfortunately, even we don't understand his mysterious ways. And An intimidating figure for sure, who seems like even a northern brute like him can appreciate finesse and knowledge. What an oddly specific thing to ask. The Tainted One is, of course, one of us, one of the many who sits in the Grand Hall. A person born with a soul that is tainted, and then who rose to new godhood. There's actually a lot of stuff here that is only from Termina. God damn it, I spelled it wrong. The new god of enlightenment, Valtiel, is the current master of the Grand Library. He's obsessed with the creation of artificial life. He has wasted his cycle at the library's almost subject without much triumph. He believes us to be the key to true godhood. He believes creation of life closes the gap between the new and older gods. The elder god that came to be from the union of Sylvian and Grogeroth. Venushka is synonymous with the nature. The god appears in different forms in different regions in the world. It is only natural as the nature itself appears in different forms around the world as well. An old warrior deity worshipped in the far reaches of the eastern sanctuaries. Higagetsu seems to become more significant during times of peace when the warriors are left without purpose. Warriors of all kinds would travel the world in search for this deity to challenge it to a duel, to give purpose to their otherwise meaningless existence. Abyssinia, which is the origin of the Western civilization. Many of us come from the land in which olive trees bloom and people bathe in sun. A kingdom which is situated toward the eastern parts of Europa. The Kingdom of Bohemia has been caught in crossfire between the Kingdom of Rondon and the Eastern Sanctuaries multiple times in recent history. The continent of the world order, a land unknown for the most part in the Western world. Even us, the new gods, know little of this part of the world. The continent is tightly connected to the older gods. The dungeons of fear and hunger are ancient, almost as old as this city. They've seen many different ages. They've always worked as a nexus between multiple different planes of existence. In the current era, the Kingdom of Rondon built prison sections over the ancient tombs. They most likely tried to use the nightmarish rumors about the tombs to their own advantage. But little did they know that such darkness could not be contained. The holy city of the Eastern Sanctuary is originally the homeland of the older god Olmer. A hotspot for all trading, be it from the west or east. The language always changes. Mahavra with what was known as the Mahabra. The city of the gods. Once we took over the city from the older gods, we decided to reside there. Still, some remnants of the older gods still linger in the city. Time and space do not follow the same rules here. Sun doesn't warm you, and death is not the same once you walk these streets. The Northern Kingdom that has stayed independent for the most part. Known for their iron will and advanced ships that sail even to the most western continents. You've seen the outside world, right? That's where you came from after all. Did you forget already? The world of humans isn't chaos, they're waiting for their savior. Someone to lift them from misery and agony, someone to stop endless wars, someone to cleanse them from their diseases. Someone to destroy the old world order and the older gods that were the cause of the dark times. A medium-sized city situated in northern Bohemia. The citizens of Rehevil are known for their passionate worship of Olmer and the unknown old gods from beyond the blue sky. The scholars of the area know surprisingly much of astrology, for a human, that is. The great western kingdom of Rondon, the center of western civilization. It was once formed out of hundreds of small warring nations and tribes to fight under one flag. How do you know about the void? This is truly curious. The void it is the other side of the coin, so to speak. If your world is the other side, that is. Some also call it the true Mahavra, is the correct term in a sense that is indeed the plane where the older gods were said to exist once upon a time. I'm afraid even our knowledge is limited when it comes to the void. It is a plane where ascension is finally possible. Thus all of us has spent an eternity searching its empty corners. This is the Grand Hall, of course. New gods reside here once our reign has seen its end. The continent of the Old World Order, a land unknown for the most part in the Western world. Even us, the new gods, know very little of this continent. The gift of Grogroth to mankind, as his presence fades, so does his gift. We're nearing the end. We don't have very much left, I don't think. It is a term commonly used for the tale about the ascension of the current generation of new gods. You only come to realize the greater scheme of things as you ascend to become a new god. Time is a cycle, as cliché as that sounds. The hue that emanates from the true Mahabharata, the plane of the older gods. This is not by time and place for such. The throne of ascension is located elsewhere. Whether you are worthy of ascension or not remains to be seen. Men and women are born to suffer, no matter what your pursuits are. Humans are never content. The gift seldom love from humankind, love from our perspective. Love is something that is unique to every person. Love can take many shapes. You can form love on your own, or it can form on its own between multiple people. What you are to become is up to you. Older gods left us without answers in our times of peril. For men to take matters into their own hands, we had to form. We are many, as you can see, but we have taken a seat in the grand hall for now to let the new ones reign for their time. The original gods that have forsaken mankind, we must take matters into our own hands. They have not been present in the memories of any of us, only their traces remain. The festival of Termina is an event arranged by the older gods. To our knowledge, the moon god is often involved in this puzzling jubilee. We do not understand the underlying message behind this festival, but in short, it is a free-for-all. A battle royale, if you will, between multiple contestants. Supposedly, there's a grand prize waiting at the end. Alright, sorry, I was just double checking that I got everything. And there we go, 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's where we're gonna end it for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time when we continue with more Fear and Hunger. Until then, bye!